So I'm sitting on a call with one of my clients the other day, and as you probably know if you watch our channel before, is that we're an email and SMS marketing agency, meaning we help e-commerce brands get people to buy many, many times on repeat so that every customer's lifetime value is very high for their brand, and therefore it helps a lot with their overall revenue, predictability, and just overall profitability as a brand. So we're sitting here talking about the email strategy for the next upcoming month. We're talking about the numbers that we're seeing, a bunch of stuff like that. And if you may or may not know this, but email marketing is kind of naturally capped in a sense by the overall traffic and leads that are coming into the brand. So if the e-commerce brand's advertising is terrible, the email marketing isn't going to be able to keep growing. Like the email marketing can only do so much with the leads that the brand is bringing in, which is why, like as the brand scales, the email marketing strategy and system gets more and more valuable with it. So what we were talking about is essentially like what's going on with the ad funnel. Like why is this not scaling up, as heavily as we want it to? I was talking about this with the client, and the client mentioned that they have an ad agency working on it. I said, why don't you send me over some of the stuff they're doing so that we can take a look at it. Long story short, they send over the document, and I was in shock with what I saw. I'm not obviously in this video, I'm not going to reveal any names or anything because this is our client and I want to help them out. And I'm obviously not going to disrespect them by saying their name here about this. But the ROAS here was a 0.3x. If you know anything about advertising, you know that that's absolutely terrible, especially for e-commerce. So obviously that was a big flag, and that was just what I noticed right off the bat. Next thing was that I actually dove into the Facebook ad library and I looked at exactly what they were running for ads. I saw 0 video ads. I saw 0 UGC, which if you don't know UGC, it's user generated content. So it's like people recording videos as if they're not a part of the brand, but obviously we wrote the script for them to write that. None of that was being tested whatsoever. All they had running was static image ads, and even the static image ads weren't even testing like messaging or hooks or headlines. They were just like very generic copy. So long story short, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I didn't think it could get any worse than that. But then they took it a step further. I clicked on the ads. I clicked the shop now button on the Facebook ads, and it takes me to the home page of the brand's website, my client's website. At this point, I'm in utter shock. I'm seeing that first of all, the advertising creatives obviously weren't good. On top of that, they're sending it to the home page of the website. All right, and like no landing page, no effort put in on that side of things. Couldn't believe it. So long story short, I'm helping them out with that now. We're going to make sure that changes so that the brand can actually scale up profitably. But in this short video, I just want to tell you a little bit about how we're going to map out that funnel and just the basics of how it's going to look so that you can hopefully, if you find yourself in the same state that brand was in, hopefully you can take this video and like get the first steps to mapping out your new ads, your new funnel strategy, and then obviously the email marketing on the back end. So let's get into it. All right, so let's switch over here. All right, e-commerce full funnel marketing. Now, there are 3 main, I guess you could call them categories of the funnel, and this is the way I like to look at it. Attention, this is going to be your advertising. All right, so this is where we are taking as much attention we can, attention from our target market, and bringing it into the brand, essentially getting that click. So like the conversion here on the attention side would be the click on the ad, all right? Then we get to the second category, which is conversion. This is going to be the landing page / website, all right? In the example I gave you at the beginning of this video, they were just sending it to the home page of the website here. There wasn't even a dedicated landing page. And so obviously, massive issue there. And the conversion event you could consider here for the conversion category would be them actually making the purchase, all right? So like we want them to make that purchase. And then of course, as you probably know if you've been on the channel before or seen my videos, you probably know that a lot of people aren't ready to make that purchase right away, and that's why we want to capture a lot of them onto the email list so that we can market to them, educate them, handle their objections, and get them to buy when they actually are ready. but the conversion event here, so let me just note this down for you. So attention, we're looking for ad clicks from our target market. Conversion on the landing page, we're looking for purchases. Number 3, retention. So this is going to be your email marketing, email and SMS marketing, right? And obviously, it says in the name, the goal here is to keep people buying over and over and over. If you sell a product that's just kind of like a one-time purchase, then we're looking for them to refer their friends, refer their family, stuff like that. Just we're looking to get as much value as we possibly can from every customer that we bring into the brand. All right, so here we're looking for repeat purchases, put simply. All right, now let's dive into the advertising aspect of it. All right, so right off the bat, the most important part to remember about all of this is that, remember, we're doing marketing here. So the most important piece is going to be the market research. All right, you can't write any ads. We can't do any landing pages. We can't write any good copy without really good market research. And so when it comes to the actual advertising, we want to do like static image ads, like I was talking about before, to like test different messaging and hooks. We want to do UGC ads because those just work so well since they're so much more trustworthy and they're really good at grabbing attention. We want to test like high quality content ads from the brand themselves. Just a few categories of the types of creatives that we want to work with, but they all stem from the market research because you can't just like make up hooks. You have to know what the market wants. It doesn't matter what you want. It doesn't matter what the brand wants. It matters what the market wants. So we always start here with everything that we do. Now, I'm not going to go into the depths because in this video we're going to keep this pretty high level, but I have multiple videos on the channel here about exactly how we run our market research process for our email and SMS marketing. So check those out. So as I mentioned, we're going to keep this pretty high level, but there are usually like 3 different categories of types of ads you're going to want to be testing. So statics, this could look a lot of different ways. You might have like a headline here. You might have like a nice floating product image here, like some benefits on the sides, stuff like that. But it's a static image. There's a ton of different things you can test here. The most important thing that I would say here is that you want to make sure you're testing the actual messaging if you're going to do statics, because typically what we've seen is that, and even people I've consulted with, is that video ads are almost always going to outperform statics. Of course, especially in e-commerce, statics can do a lot better in some cases, but UGC is going to kill it for you as well. So UGC is going to be like a person here on the screen. Like let's say you got a girl here talking about skincare. And then, maybe you'll have like some captions here or a headline or something like that. Then you have like a CTA button that pops up later on in the video, something like that. Or like telling them to go hit the CTA button on the ad. But there's a lot of different things you can do with UGC. The main reason UGC works so well is because people don't necessarily trust a brand right off the bat. Like I have a good friend that likes to call it like a trust recession that we're in right now. And so it's harder for people to just see a brand and trust them because, they've probably been screwed over by brands before. But when they see a person talking about the brand, it's so much easier for them to trust that person. Then the other part here is high production. So this might just be like, there could be a ton of different variations you can go with here. Like for example, let's say it's someone on a farm. You've got like, animals over here that, excuse my terrible drawing, but like you got animals over here, and the person like works on the farm. Terrible drawing, terrible representation of that, but this might be like a highly edited video. Like I know, I believe it's called Vital Farms. They make pasture-raised eggs, and they have some really good ads like this that are really good at like pushing the type of message that they're trying to get out. So these are the type of like creatives that you usually be running and that you want to be like creating in general. Now, when it comes to the actual way of running your ad account, the way we tend to do ours is essentially you're going to have an ad campaign. We like to run that on a campaign budget optimization, which means if you're not into the weeds with ads, some of this part might go over your head, but stick with me for this part. So CBO is campaign budget optimization. That means that you're running an ad campaign which has different ad sets within it. And the CBO, meaning it's campaign budget optimization, means that you're essentially giving Meta the responsibility of choosing how much of your spend it's going to put on whichever ad set. So it might say like this ad set's performing better than this one within that campaign, so I'm going to put most of the spend on that ad set. And you're letting Meta kind of decide that because Meta has so much data available to it. So then you'll have like an ad set here, you have an ad set here, and then this, like let's say this one on the left here is your winning ad set. All right, so this is essentially going to be your winners. And what you're going to do is as you run tests with ad sets like this one, so like let's say this ad set is your dynamic creative test ad set, all right? You're going to be testing different things here. So like you might test a batch of static ads, and then maybe this ad set performs well and it's a winner. Then we're going to take the best variation from that dynamic creative test ad set and move it into the winner's ad set, which is this green one right here. Now, again, I don't want to go too deep into the weeds with this because I know for like if you're watching this and you're just trying to get like a basic setup going, this might like fly over your head. Just keep in mind, start with a CBO, run ad sets on a dynamic creative test, meaning like it's a dynamic ad, so it's got it like you can literally click the switch in Meta to make it a dynamic ad that on the ad set level, and then the ad will just be a singular ad within that ad set, and you can put like 5 or 10 different variations of the actual ad that you're actually testing. So again, try to keep this somewhat high level, so we'll skip past the rest of those details for now. But that's the attention piece of this. Now let's move on to the conversion piece. All right, so conversion is pretty simple. This is going to be the landing page that you are sending the ad traffic to. Now, that might be a lot different based on the brand that you are. A couple different examples that we can discuss right here. It's just like a typical sales page. You could have an advertorial page, which I'll explain in a minute. You could have like less of an advertorial. I mean, these are the two we'll focus on for now to keep it pretty high level. But a sales page, that's going to be a page here that's just solely just selling your product. Now that might mean like you have a header section of this landing page that's pretty much like a buy now, kind of like a product page. Maybe you'll have like some benefit sections here, social proof section. Thing is, like, there's so many different variations of this landing page, but what I'm trying to display to you here is that you have a landing page, you have sections of it, and ultimately you're trying to get them to click that button and move on to the checkout page, which we'll get to in a minute so I can show you the whole funnel here. But that's about it for the sales page. The advertorial page is going to be a lot different. The advertorial page is going to be a lot more copy heavy, meaning a lot more text on the screen rather than like imagery. And you're going to be trying to like if you know what an editorial is, it's kind of like mixing an editorial with an advertisement. So, this could be 5 reasons gout creeps up on people at a specific age. If you don't know, gout is like a pain in your foot because of a buildup of uric acid. So like that's one example. Maybe it's like, 5 reasons that women over the age of 50 see, increased inflammation, and it plugs to an inflammation product, something like that. Those are just a couple examples off the top of my head, but the overall theme here is that it's a lot more copy. You might have, like I was listing right there, like actual lists of things, or maybe it'll be like just a story, and it's just like a really engaging story that's actually a little bit valuable to the customer. And then it leads to like a product section with a buy now button. You can also have like 3 or like 1, 3, 6 bottle options. Like they can buy 1 bottle, 3 bottles, or 6 bottles. And then essentially after the landing page, they're going to move on to a checkout page. All right. And then you're going to have to build out a checkout page that you'll send people to. Let me remove that disgrace of a drawing and just make that a normal shape here. But yeah, you're going to send these people to a checkout page. From there, the next step is going to be after they check out, they've purchased. Now you're going to want to like move them to a one-click upsell page. So from that point, it's going to be, let's see here. There we go. So one-click upsell page. You kind of like give them an opportunity to increase the AOV. Now, if you're selling something like a supplement, simply selling more of the same supplements is going to work really well here. So let me do quick labeling here. So yeah, as I was saying, if you're selling something like a supplement, just selling them more of the same supplement at a discount tends to work really well. Then after the upsell page, like let's say they don't take us up on that upsell. Now they might advance onto a downsell page, which is essentially the same thing, but a cheaper product in that case. And keep in mind, the whole point of me showing you all this is just to give you perspective on what your funnel will actually look like and the way we're aiming to build these out. And then, of course, as you go through these, you're going to start getting some really good data on what people are doing, what your conversion rate is here to get people to the checkout page, how many people on the checkout page are actually buying, how many are dropping off. You might have a whole separate flow of emails specifically for the people that drop off here. Then maybe nobody's taking the upsell. That's another example of a part where we can test different upsells to see what converts best for those people. So there's a lot of data to collect here. Now, this is like a very high level overview of the conversion part. Now, I want to move on to the retention part, which is your email and SMS marketing. So if you've been on my channel before, you know that email and SMS marketing is pretty much all we talk about here, aside from just like basic marketing and direct response principles. But retention is really going to come down to a few main things with your email marketing. So number one is going to be your list growth. Number two is going to be your campaigns. Number three is going to be your flows. And number four is going to be like your deliverability. So we'll actually start with deliverability because it's kind of like something that you need to have in place for the rest to be working. So deliverability comes down to a few things. First, to just define it for you, deliverability is essentially how well or how often are you able to make your emails land in their primary inbox, like making sure you're not going to spam and hopefully not even landing in promotions. So if your deliverability is good, it probably means that you have your DNS records in place. Again, if you want the details on these, I have other videos right here on the same channel, essentially going over everything you need to know for this. But DNS records should be in place. You should have clean sending practices. And you want a clean list that you're actually sending to. The other thing is that you want to have optimized content, email content. Again, we're not going to get too in the weeds with this because this video is keeping this all pretty high level, but there are other videos on the channel outlining exactly what this stuff means and how you can set it up for your brand. Now, as far as list growth goes, so list growth is going to come down to your opt-in form conversion rate. All right, you can run different opt-in forms on different landing pages. Let's say this landing page from this ad funnel is not wanting to give the same offer that we have on our main website. In that case, you can do a different opt-in form in your Klaviyo account that only shows up on this specific landing page, for example. So that's a really big piece of this because a lot of people aren't going to be ready to buy right away. We don't want everyone just leaving without purchasing, and then we just hope that they come back from another ad. We want them to opt into our form so we can market to them on the email list. Now, campaigns, the best volume here is 3 to 4 a week for 90% of brands. We've found that 3 to 4 a week is kind of like that optimal range to sit in. And anything lower than that, you're just not sending enough. Anything more than that, you have a higher chance of, like making your list annoyed and getting too many unsubscribes. However, if you're using proper segmentation, meaning you're sending a lot of different messaging to different parts of the list, you can easily get away with more than 4 a week. Or, if you're getting a lot of people on your list all the time, like you have a lot of traffic and the opt-in form is converting a lot of those people, in that case, it might make sense to send more often, like 5, 6, 7 times a week, and you can still get away with it because the list actually likes the content. Now, flows. I'm going to map out right here the main flows that you have to have set up, and then we'll move on. So first, you need your welcome series. This is where you're going to convert people that come in from the opt-in form into a buyer. Then you need the 4 abandonment flows. So that's going to be site abandonment, meaning they didn't even browse any products. Browse abandonment, meaning they didn't add it to their cart. Cart abandonment, meaning they added products to their cart, but they didn't get to the checkout page. Checkout abandonment, meaning they got all the way to the checkout page, but they didn't make a purchase. All right, and then we get to the post-purchase side of things, which is a first-time buyer series, a repeat buyer series, a VIP flow, customer win-back flow, and a re-engagement flow. These are all the core ones that you want to have set up. And then for SMS, you're going to have an SMS welcome series. You're going to have an SMS browse abandonment flow. You're going to have an SMS abandoned cart flow. And you're going to have an SMS abandoned checkout flow. All right. Now let me quickly explain. These ones speak for themselves, but the post-purchase flows I want to quickly explain for you. First-time buyer series, the whole goal of that is to take the people that just bought for the first time and convert them into a repeat buyer, remove any buyer's remorse that they might have, and just reinforce their positive decision and actually like purchasing our product. Repeat buyer series, we just, again, same thing. We want to remove any buyer's remorse, reinforce that decision for them, and prime them to keep buying from our campaign emails in the future. VIP flow, we want to make these people feel really loved by our brand because they are our best customers. And in some cases, we'll give them like specific offers or promos. Not typically like discounts or anything like that, just things to just like show our appreciation, like a friends and family discount or something like that. Now, customer win-back flow. So in the customer win-back flow, we're trying to take the people that have purchased before, but it's been, a lot longer than it should have been before they made their next purchase. And we're trying to convert them. And then the re-engagement flow is for all the people that are on the email list but haven't opened or clicked an email in a really long time. We want to re-engage them. And if they don't re-engage, we simply just suppress them from the list so that they're not making your list full of unqualified people or people that just aren't even engaging with the emails. And that way you don't have to pay for them. So that's a good overview of the retention side of this. And that's about it. All right, I hope you found this valuable. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments section below. You can also hit the link in the description to jump on my free newsletter where I'm essentially sending you new stuff like this all the time throughout each week. And again, it's totally free. Send stuff there all the time. It's kind of like the inner circle of this YouTube channel. So we'd love to have you there. And yeah, talk soon.